Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on another episode of Banking on Experience. I'm really excited about today's episode because we're going to be talking about our community that we're building called Right on the Money. Right on the Money was a championship contest that we ran for about 2 or 3 months. And today we're actually going to be talking to the first place winner, State Employees Credit Union. Very excited about that. We're going to be talking to their CEO about how he built the culture that they have today. Welcome, everybody, to the Right on the Money community. We are super excited to be joined with the 2020 Right on the Money champion, State Employee Credit Union. We're joined by the CEO, Harold. Harold, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here, James, with this exciting, the 2020 Right on the Money. We were excited about winning the award, and what a great cause. And thank you for what you guys do as well.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Harold, you have one of those voices that should be heard on movies.
Have a voice for radio? Is that?
Yeah, like I actually can imagine some of the old radio that I sat with my grandpa and some of the baseball games that he used to listen to on the radio. Your voice sounds very soothing in that regard. So I'm excited.
Okay.
So Harold, tell us a little bit about your credit union.
Our home office is located in Santa Fe, New Mexico. It originally started out as a state, city, county employees credit union, and they have since expanded some community charters within probably 7 of the largest counties in New Mexico. So we have 7 branches in 6 different cities, kind of down primarily northern New Mexico. We've had some incredible growth over the last several years, and we're bumping the 800 million mark in terms of asset size for a credit union. And when I started here, we were 50 million in assets, and now it's bumping 800. So it's almost hard to believe, but it's done well. And we've got some great employees that make this happen. And it's been a fun adventure for sure.
I know we didn't plan to ask you this, but I'm actually curious. Tell us a little bit about that journey going from 50 million to 800.
Yeah, when you're at 50, you're just trying to survive, and you're trying to figure out how we're going to make things work and keep things going. And then next thing, you're kind of at 100 million, and things are starting to happen, and you're getting some good momentum going with things going on, and that's working well. And then the next thing, you're 250, 500, and here you are at 800. And today, we started out when I was here, we were 50 employees. Today, we're about 160 employees. And so we're grown tremendously. And it's just fun to watch other people grow as well, and just the things that have happened at the credit union and things that are going on. So the fun part for me is just the people and the growth and getting to see people do things that they would have never got a chance to do. And we're employing people that we would have never had a chance to employ before. And so, it's been a fun, that part's exciting for sure.
Love hearing that story, because I think that there's so many credit unions out there that are looking to make those moves,
Yeah, I think sometimes you think, I'll never get to that point, or how am I going to get, I'll never be past this. And, you just kind of keep your eye on the prize and keep moving forward. And here you are. So, yeah. You've
established a culture as state employees that you had mentioned in a culture video that you shared with us in your submission for the Right on the Money. And I wanted to touch on that. One of the things that you had mentioned was a service-first mentality. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you came up with that and how you established it as a core principle within the culture?
Yeah, our philosophy has always been pretty simple. It's really about service, and that's where we're located here within a half mile of this main office. There are 8 financial institutions, banks, credit unions, savings and loans. So I always tell employees it's not really about the convenience of coming here, because it's just about as easy to get to the other 7 that it is to us. And so our money is the same color as everybody else's. And so they come here for the service, because we offer checking accounts and we offer loans, and so do they. And so we think our checking account's a little bit better, and we think our savings account might be a little bit better, but really within a percentage point here and there, it looks about the same. It's I always tell, it's like going to a grocery store. They all offer pretty much the same products, and that's really what we do. but it's the service that we offer that makes the difference. And that's why people come here, for the service. So they can get all of the products anywhere, but you can't get the service that you get here. That's the mentality that we give our employees and the empowerment that we try to give employees, that they come here for the service.
I love one of the lines that you used, and I'm sure that I'm not the only one that says this, but that your money is the same color as everyone else's. I love that line because it is true.
It's true. It's green just like everybody else, and it looks the same. So they can get a $100 bill here, they can get a $100 bill next door, and it looks exactly the same. But how do we deliver it? What was the experience when they walked in the door, when they walked in, and how did they feel when they left? And that's the difference. So
talk to us a little bit about how that culture's come to life for employees. When they take that service first mentality, what does it do for your members?
I think for members, the biggest compliment we hear is, man, when I come into your branches, I just feel a good energy. Like, people seem engaged. They're happy to be here. People like coming to a place where employees feel like they're happy to be at work. And so, again, it's work. I get that, but it is, if you're going to be here, let's have fun doing it. And how do we improve on that? How do we make that a better experience for people? And so part of I look at my job is really to make sure we're taking good care of employees. And employees, your job is to really make sure you're taking good care of those members every day. And so as long as we have that understanding, we're gonna be good. And so that's kind of the philosophy that we've lived on, is that, hey, we're going to take good care of you, and you take good care of those members. And so for that member experience, I think they come in, they feel like, man, these employees are engaged. They want to help me. They want to give me the best products and services there are, and they do it with some pride and a smile in their voice and their attitudes, and that's the difference. And we hold people accountable for that. That's your job. So that's what we do. You build really good employee experience, and member experience follows. 100% agree with you on that. And it's interesting that you bring that up, because coming from the customer experience space not too long ago, where that was where I was a CMO over CloudShare, and that's where we played. And it was so interesting to see a shift in the market where people were focused so much on the customer and so much on the member. And then all of a sudden they realized, you know what? If we just look internally and kind of look at the mirror a little bit, it kind of, in some cases, works itself out. And I think you're seeing now some huge organizations within the business world that are trying to also make that change and shift to, hey, like, we really do need to put our employees first. And I love the fact that you started there, that you didn't do it the opposite way. And I think that that's telling for other credit unions, because it puts you in a position to kind of, I think, probably a big reason why it's fast-tracked the growth that you guys have had. No, I think that's definitely made a difference. And, we taking care of employees, because employees that are engaged will take care of the members because they're happy to do it. And that's what they like doing. And that's what makes them feel good. So I think, I guess I believe people come to work, they want to do a good job. I think employees want to, generally do a good job. But if your only focus is your customers or your members, then you're missing the key element, which is the people who put it out there. And granted, we need to take good care of members, but we got to take care of you first, because you're the driver, not them necessarily. And so other people may look at that differently, but I think it's worked well for us. And we've been successful being able to do that. So let's talk a little bit about your submission to the Right on the Money. One of the things that Kyle had submitted on your guys' behalf was the schools that you guys created for the working moms, the working dads out there. How'd you come up with that idea? Well, a part of it was a little bit out of selfishness because here's the situation. These schools are closed. We employ a lot of moms and some dads, but more moms here. And, just saw this, how are these employees going to handle this when these kids are at home and mom and dad have to come to work? And, we didn't really close down our branches. We closed down the branches for about a month when the pandemic first hit. And we were trying to figure out how we're going to, get protective gear and plexiglass shields. And so we did that really quick. And then we reopened. And, everyone kind of looked at us like, man, what are you doing? And I said, we need to take good care of these members because they're expecting us to be open, and working through the drive up isn't cutting it. It's not good service. And so we opened up, and, we I think we've proven that we can open and be safe and, not have a plague come into your office. Just have to be careful about it. But at this point, the schools are letting out for the summer. And so now your schools are getting ready to start again. These kids are going to be learning from home. And I've got a first grader, a second grader, a third grader who can't be alone all day. So we're going to have a slew of employees that can't come to work. And we don't have any way to take care of them. Let's just bring the school here and we'll set up high-speed internet. They were all issued some kind of notepad to be able to access schools. So our IT department then put up high-speed access in all of our branches. And we designated a room in every one of our branches. Some places we have a couple of rooms. And we just said, bring your kids to school and we'll help them. That way they're there. Then the other thing we learned was these kids were in school telling a first grader or second grader, okay, do your assignment and then log back in 20 minutes. And they can't really tell time. So mom or dad were having to go back in all the time. So we found it was taking our employees away from work because they're having to go back in and kind of get the kids logged back in. So then we hired tutors to come in and help these kids kind of stay on track during the day. So we brought tutors to every location so we could then help them. And some of these employees just said, I'm getting better results for my son or daughter than I did when they were in school because they've got one-on-one kind of helping them go through the process here. So it's been a learning curve for us, but at the same time, it was like, wow, that was, I'm glad we did it and I'm glad we're still doing it and it's working. It's not as good as being in school, but this is what the situation we're in. This is what we have to do. So here we are.
Such a cool concept. And I love the fact that maybe you did this by design, but even if it wasn't by design, it did something that I think is in dire need. And that's empowering more working moms to be seen, be heard. And the fact is, like, the pandemic, whether we want to admit it or not, it really did impact working moms probably more than anyone.
Absolutely.
I know that, bless my wife so much because like she's doing the job of so many right now. And I see her stress, and she's luckily and fortunate enough to where she doesn't have to work. And I can't imagine what that stress level would have done for her if she would have had to have worked as well. And so I love the fact that you did that. And there was actually a few comments that some of your employees made. One of them in particular that really stood out to me, and that was, I can't remember exactly who it was because I don't think we actually got a name from it, but there's somebody in your credit union that said, for the first time in a really long time, I got to eat lunch with my kid. And that kind of blew me away. I was like, wow, you take those things for granted. And you don't get to go to the school all the time and eat lunch with your kids. And as they're going through school, sometimes the only time you get to eat lunch with them is during the summertime. And that was a testament to what I had seen you guys had built on your culture. And I just got to give you kudos for that.
One of the other interesting, we have one of the dads that works here, and he started bringing his son 2 days a week because he saw what was going on with the moms. His wife stays at home, but he would bring him here to give her kind of a break during the day. And he said, it's been fun because he said, now I'm getting to eat lunch with my son and we're kind of hanging out and he's driving to work with me. And then he comes in during his breaks and kind of checks in on dad to see what dad does. And he said, it's been kind of fun to have him engage with me at work. And here I'm bringing him a couple days a week and we're kind of having fun, kind of a little bonding time with father son. So it's worked both ways. But you're right, the empowering the women, I mean, no question, they have been impacted more than anybody. And so to say, hey, I'm going to be able to keep my job and my income, and I'm able to go to work, and I've got someone taking care of my son or daughter while they're at school, and I've got a tutor in there to kind of help them keep on track, and I don't have to worry about anything in there. It's just working, and so it's worked really well. So no, it was not something we ever planned on doing, but we did it, and I'm glad we did it. And I know others have done variations of trying to help employees to do something, but who thought we'd be doing this a year ago? But yeah, here we are. But we got to kind of roll with the punches, I guess.
Well, listen, we know that the likelihood of this changing and going back to the old way of normal is likely not going to happen anytime soon. So what can credit unions do right now to take a page out of your book?
I think, again, if your focus is on we need to take really good care of our employees, then whatever that is, so I guess the page out of the book might be, hey, take a step back and really ask your employees, what do they need? I mean, what makes their life easier? What makes their job easier? But really, it's that balance wheel of their life of what is it you're not getting from somewhere, is home or work or things that aren't working for you. And if you can make a difference and do something different there, then do it. Because sometimes it's very simple things that make a big difference. It might be, gosh, I have 3 kids to drop off at 3 different schools. And so, I'm getting reprimanded for being 10 minutes late or something. And I'm like, well, figure it out and work around it. There's got to be a fix to that. When here's someone who's really trying. And sometimes I think we get lost in the rule book of, okay, everyone has to fit in the same box. And so, well, maybe we don't. And so how do we make that happen? So if that's maybe that page out of the page book is just find out what your employees are really needing and then try to help them best you can.
Oh, I love that. I think so often people come to these things and they think, or they talk to an executive like yourself and they think that they're going to get just this like earth shattering, like, oh my gosh, I gotta do that right now. And sometimes it's literally just self-reflection of realizing that you do need to take a step back and, as simple as it may sound, ask.
Yeah, no.
Ask your employees.
Most of the things that we think are big are just really simple little things that you go, wow, that made a difference. And you go, yeah, that's all they needed. They just needed some help.
Let's talk about the future. You guys as state employees are obviously doing an incredible job with your culture. You've built service mentality first with your members, but also your employees are living and breathing that. That's being translated to results that you're seeing firsthand as an executive. It's being translated to testimonials from your employees and what we saw in the Right on the Money submission. What does the future look like with the culture at state employees?
I think the future looks bright for us. I think, we'll continue to grow. We have a program that we put employees through here about goal setting and understanding how to set goals and where do you see yourself down the future. And it should be more than just a job. It ought to be a career for you and have those goals in mind of where do I go next. And so we always have this thing we talk about living life on purpose and not by accident. Set yourself a goal, and you don't have to change the world, but just set goals for yourself, and they can be small things. They can be a day out or a week out or a month out. And what do I want to be? What do I want to accomplish by a week from today or 2 weeks or a month? And set little goals and be really good at it and live life on purpose, not on accident. And so we talk a lot about that with employees, and I think sometimes it's an aha moment of I didn't know I could do that, or I didn't know I was capable. And so sometimes just that empowerment is really where I see the future for us and just helping people kind of really build their own future. And how do I do that? And then it carries over into their life and other things they do as well at home and whatever's in their balance wheel of life of things they have going on. It's like, well, okay, I can do it here too. And so we like those well-balanced employees that kind of have everything going and kind of thinking about where they want to be and what they want to do. And I think it gives a purpose of why do I come to work and why do I do what I do. And so that seems to work well for us, and we'll continue to kind of empower those people to do that.
Love it. Harold's giving you guys some awesome sound bites. Yeah, live life on purpose, not by accident. I love it. I appreciate you joining us in this episode. We're going to continue to develop this community over time where we're going to have a lot more executives in the credit union world. And we hope that this is a place where people can come, learn, and also just be heard as well. So thank you so much, Harold, for being on. And I got to say one more time, congratulations for winning the Right on the Money, because we were pretty excited for you guys and loved seeing all your team's efforts and all of the comments that we got from your team in the submission. It was really, really awesome to see that.